So it does seem to me Johnson, not for the first time, is trying to hoodwink people into voting for something that's not really there.
So, David, thank you very much for your time this morning. A lot of coverage, of course, from BBC Breakfast, special programme for us from Westminster. Naga, back to you.
Charlie, thanks very much. Yeah, let's just take a look at what's happening over the Palace of Westminster this morning. This is going to be a momentous day in British political history. I'll tell you why. For the first time since 1982 in the Falklands War, Parliament is sitting on a Saturday. Why? Because at 9:30, it's going to reconvene. The Speaker of the House of Commons, John Bercow, is going to stand up and introduce Parliament. He's going to say whether or not he's going to let certain amendments come through and then make way for Boris Johnson to present his argument for why MPs should vote for his agreement, the agreement he made with EU leaders just a couple of days ago. What we know at the moment is he needs 320 votes. What we don't know is whether or not he's going to get them. It is very, very tight today. So we're going to be examining that, as you've seen with interviews with various politicians from both sides of the House, all sides, to see how they're voting. Many undecided still, even this morning. Ahead of that, we were talking to Peter Bose just a moment ago. He's one of those. Time now is 7:27. There's
Hello, good morning. Welcome to a special edition of BBC Breakfast from Westminster with Naga, Munchetty and Charlie Stayt.
Good morning to you. It's just after 8:30. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's bring you a summary of today's main stories from BBC News. It's a momentous day expected here at Westminster. MPs will vote on Boris Johnson's new Brexit agreement.
With so little time left before the UK is due to leave the EU on October the 31st, Parliament is sitting on a Saturday. It's the first time since the invasion of the Falklands in 1982.
The Prime Minister will address MPs before they debate the details of the agreement and then vote on whether to accept it. Well, we've been talking to lots of people this morning trying to gauge how they're going to vote. And of course, someone who's very keen for this deal to get over the line is the Brexit Secretary, Stephen Barclay.
Yes, the government, he says, has done a lot of work to convince MPs to back the Prime Minister, but admits he can't predict the final result.
Well, I think it is close, but I think a lot of MPs recognise that having said that the Prime Minister would not be able to secure the deal, he has done so. We've listened to the concerns of MPs across all sides of the House.
So we've just heard in just the last few minutes, we've been talking to undecided MPs, and Number 10, Downing Street, still contacting them as late as this morning to try to convince them to back the Prime Minister. Now, one of those 21 former Conservatives who had the whip removed after voting against the government to block no deal was Antoinette Sandbach, who's now an independent MP.
Let's hear what she told us about the efforts being made to get her to vote with the government.
Well, I will need to see what the Prime Minister says, but at the moment, if there are no amendments granted, I would vote no.
You would vote no?
If there is an amendment, you will vote.
I will.
So Antoinette Sandbach is an independent former Conservative MP. Very interesting what she said this morning when she sat with us. She said a little earlier this morning she received a call from Downing Street asking her specifically how she was going to vote. It very much brings home just how late in the day people are still being pressured to find out how they're going to vote because things are so tight.
Let's take you to Downing Street, where those phone calls have been coming from this morning. Well, Boris Johnson is going to be preparing, as we speak, in just under an hour, he'll be coming here to Westminster to travel to the Commons to address MPs. Behind closed doors at the moment, of course, but as we hear, phone calls still being made this morning, and he'll be coming here to Westminster, Palace of Westminster, where he will speak at 9:30 this morning. It's a momentous day, a historical day. For 37 years, Parliament hasn't sat on a Saturday. That's how important it is now to the Prime Minister and his party to get his deal over the line.
Yes, part of our programme this morning, of course, as soon as the Prime Minister and indeed the Speaker stands up to address the Commons, we'll be following those events live, expected, as Naga was saying, at around 9:30 this morning. Time now is 8:34. Good morning, welcome to a special edition of Breakfast with Naga, Munchetty and Charlie Stayt. In Westminster today, MPs will vote on Boris Johnson's Brexit agreement.
Parliament is sitting on a Saturday for the first time since 1982. A momentous day is in store in British political history.
In the last half hour, the Prime Minister has left Downing Street to head to the Commons. still working to win last-minute support of a number of MPs.
So this is where he will be addressing Parliament at 9:30. He's currently in Downing Street, preparing to leave. There have been last-minute phone calls this morning. We've heard from MPs as Boris Johnson and his team try to persuade them to help him get his agreement over the line. He'll present to MPs at 9:30. We'll bring you that live. Good morning. It is Saturday, the 19th of October. It's a sunny day over Westminster this morning. Why are we here? Well, Boris Johnson is preparing to address the House of Commons in just half an hour ahead of a crucial vote on his new Brexit agreement.
It is a momentous day at Westminster. Parliament is sitting on a Saturday for the first time since the invasion of the Falklands in 1982.
Now, we can tell you in the last few minutes, Boris Johnson did leave Downing Street to travel here to Westminster, to Parliament, to make a final plea to MPs to support him. There he is just a few minutes ago, leaving 10 Downing Street. What will then happen is the agreement will be debated, and then there will be a vote amongst MPs that will take place this afternoon.